Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about my honest thoughts on one of my favorite video games of all time, The Last of Us. Well, as you can see, it's getting dark right now. And yes, it's been raining lately. Wow. So I couldn't go outside anymore. But anyway, okay. Well, first of all, before I begin, saying my honest thoughts about this is to Sonia out there from last night on YouTube when she made a comment on my video when I was in line at Dollar Tree with my sister. I'm sorry, Sonia, for the way I was talking to you like that. I wasn't sure if you were being rude or not. The way you comment on my video. I apologize. Anyway. Now that I got that out of the way, because I'm really sorry, Sonia. Sorry the way I talked to you like that last night. But now that I got my apology out of the way, here we go. The reason I'm going to talk about this right here, The Last of Us, was because this was all over the news last night. This was really talked about now. And to be honest, I remember when the first Last of Us came out back in 2013, I was excited because it was a brand new game that Naughty Dog was doing after I finished playing Uncharted 3. And man, that game changed my life forever. Thanks to The Last of Us, it made me appreciate video games. And now I officially became a gamer. Yep. But then when I heard The Last of Us 2 was coming out, I was really... Sorry, I just had to make sure I brighten the screen up. Anyway, when I heard that Last of Us Part 2 was coming out, I was skeptical actually because the way the first Last of Us ended, why is there a need for another one? The way they told it was perfect the way how the first one ended. But then when I saw the trailer of Last of Us Part 2 back in 2016, I took it all back. Because that game looks sick for the PS4. Wow. So I waited for Part 2 to come out, which eventually did in 2020. And I'll admit, sure, the game was different from the first one, it really was. But I still enjoyed it for what it was. But after the way Part 2 ended, I remember how Part 2 ended, and that's how the game ended. So, but then, after that, I remember Neil Druckmann said that he actually has a plot ready for Last of Us Part 3. And when I heard that supposedly Naughty Dog will do a Part 3 of Last of Us, I figured, okay, why not? I'm actually looking forward to Part 3. I really am, to be honest, because I want to know what happens next after the way Part 2 ended. I mean, heck, since Part 2 really blew my mind out as the first one did, I might as well look forward to Part 3 anyway. But anyway, this was really talked about a lot. It really was. Now, I guess because ever since the show The Last of Us from HBO, which came out last year, I eventually watched it, and man, the show is surprisingly good. Like, they did a good job of how they told it. Like, I'll admit, there were things they did in the show that were not accurate to the game. Cause they changed stuff. I would say the show was rushed, the way they did it. But other than that, The Last of Us show really impressed me. So thank you, HBO, for doing the show. And Pedro Pascal, I don't know if I pronounced his last name right. He actually impressed me as Joe. He really did. And Bella Ramsey, I don't know if that's, well, I'm trying to remember her last name was, but yeah, she did play Ellie. And she was actually impressive too. But I was aware back then, before, there was going to be a Last of Us movie coming out. But for some reason it didn't happen. Like, I don't know what happened. And I remember the fans wanted Hugh Jackman to play Joel. I remember that. And yeah, I would agree. Like, he would actually nail Joel after seeing him in that film, Prisoners. Because Prisoners was basically The Last of Us movie right there for him. But that wasn't the only movie he did that felt like The Last of Us. If you remember the movie Logan from 2017, that was definitely like The Last of Us there. Yeah, like that was as close as it could get as The Last of Us movie we got. Yep. Oh man. So anyway, now let's talk about this here. Last of Us Part 3, Neil Druckmann shares update on plans for third game. So let's go. Let's see. Okay, it says though a third The Last of Us video game is still not guaranteed, co-creator Neil Druckmann has revealed that he does have a concept in mind for Ellie's next and presumably final outing. Okay. So I guess Ellie will come back. But yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to 3, because I want to know what happens next after what happened at the end of part 2. So let's see. Okay. Both previous Last of Us games were massive success for Naughty Dog, so it was generally assumed that a third installment to wrap up the story was inevitable. Well, yeah, I mean, you might as well do a third game anyway, since a sequel happened. Cause yeah, like what's gonna happen next? Will Ellie do the right thing, bring cure to mankind this time? See, the first one, yeah, like she had that chance, but now Joel took it away from her, though. Anyway, here we go. However, The Last of Us Part 3 has yet to be officially announced. Oh yeah. I'm definitely excited for that. Rumors began to do the rounds that development was already underway on Part 3 early last year. Okay. But co-creator Neil Druckmann debunked the reports so after. Okay, well, yeah, I know I shouldn't get too excited. Like, I should wait to see if it happens. Like, yeah, I shouldn't get too excited. Yeah, like I shouldn't expect too much. The Naughty Dog co-president did later offer a slightly more positive update though. Okay? I know there's a bunch of people wondering about The Last of Us Part 3 and whether that will be a thing or not. Neil Druckmann told BuzzFeed. All I could say is, at Naughty Dog, we're very, very privileged that our publisher is Sony. Yeah, which means Sony funds our games. Oh, I see. Supports us, and we're owned by Sony. Ah, okay. So it's up to Sony to decide. Okay. Okay, there's more. Yeah, I was trying to see there's more. Our process is the same thing we did when we did part 2, which is if we can come up with a compelling story that has this universal message and statement about love. That's what the first game was all about, just like the first and second game did. Well, except that when the second game was coming out, Neil Druckmann said that the sequel was going to be about hatred, while the first one was about love. And they did a good job on that, the way they did with the hatred theme. Anyway, then we will tell that story. If we can't come up with something, we have a very strong ending with part 2, and that will be the end. Well, okay. I mean, if you can't come up with one, then okay, I guess. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to stop here. Yes. So that's my honest thoughts on Last of Us Part 3. What do you guys think? Are you guys looking forward to Last of Us Part 3 if it happens? Let me know in the comments.